same idea. Right? And remember, it's about sticking and, yeah, that's it. So.
Wow.
Keep your thumbs together too, so thumbs and fingers. Hands at your sides. There we go, that's it. Straight line from the shoulder to the elbow. That's it. You okay?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, so it's that fifth of a second when most people will just have recognized that the punch has started. In that fifth of a second, you've already blocked it.
Damn it.
And it works because this is real, right? This first part has to be real, or else you're not going to fall for that. If it's not real, you're not going to fall for it, right? You will not be led by a fake. Right?
Damn it.
Okay, so here, you're protecting this, right? So I can't get in. Okay. Okay. You okay?
Yeah.
So if I try to get in, I try to get past, it's not going to work. But if I get you to lead me in,
Okay.
okay? So I'm getting you to take me there. If I fight, if I try to get around, I can't get past that. That's better. Now you're neutralizing all the vectors. Keep going. You're getting the hang of it. Okay. You can use two hands. That's better. You're getting it. You're closer. You're actually. That's improving, right? I'm not getting you with the same kind of alignment that I had before. That's it. That's better. Watch those thumbs. Okay. See? Here. Here. Right, good. Right? So it's not a matter of simply folding around anymore, right? You're on my center. You're sticking to the attack, not just the arms. So I can't sneak in like that. I'm not just going to be able to fold. Right? A lot of people will just come in and roll and trap. Oh, there you go. A lot of people will just roll in like that, but because the push hand stuff that you've done, the Tuishou and the sticking and the grappling you've done for years before this, right? From here, your experience has led you to know the difference between this. It's just what you know, what you know for 3 seconds and what you feel for a fifth of a second are different things, right? So that fifth of a second will betray that 3 seconds of pure awareness.
Okay.
Right? And so it's, and that's power, right? That's not just a weak. Actually, that has structure to it, right? If that were this, right, that could go for the wrist. See? So it's not just that, because you can touch my arm, But you're touching my arm is not going to be blocking me. That's why people said, oh, you'd never get past that. Well, it's not about the arm being here. It's about you connecting to this.
Okay.
Right? So you can be here, but if you're not, if you're connected to this, I can't get past you. You're sticking and following. But if you're not connected to that, and that's where the push hands comes in. Right? So from here, I neutralize where.
Okay.
Aha!
This is like the rollback.
Yep, that's right, exactly. So a rollback can be a defense. It can also be an offense. So as you push me, there I roll. I come forward, you resist, I roll. Okay. So the rolling is just getting you off my center and me on your center. Whether I'm going forward or backward doesn't matter.
Okay.
So when I come in, that's it. Now the roll, again, remember, happens as a result of pung.
Okay.
So because because the log is floating in the water, it will roll. So the pung is the water supporting the log. The rolling is the ability of the log to roll. It's not the water making the log roll, and it's not the log going ugh, like that. It's just the quality. So it's a byproduct of pung. So that enables me to come forward to see to feel naturally, without thinking, where the vectors are, and to maintain not just a vector of the hand towards your center, but to maintain the structure alignment towards your center. So that when I come here, this isn't just me, it's not just me sneaking in and going like this, right? It's me coming in and connecting like this. Okay, so I have that power. Okay. So if I come in with one of these, I'm not just sneaking in and going, tag, gotcha. That it's tagged you. Okay. Right? So from here, you're connecting to my center. Right? But if I roll, now you're not connecting to my center. Now you're actually pulling me towards you. So you're here, and I roll. Okay. In order to connect to your center. But look what you're doing with this hand now.
I'm getting sucked in.
You're pulling me right towards you. Right? You feel this draw back, right? Wham. Okay, so you're drawing me right towards you. So this roll doesn't just move you off, it moves me towards your center. That's the nature of roll, of Yu. So Pang is the ability to support you, Yu is the ability to roll right into you. So when I come in like this, I roll, that's it. That's it, you connected to there, and I start to roll, I'm on your center. Do it again, but connect this to your hip, to the fulcrum. Roll. That's it. Now you're on my center. Well, a little bit past it, so you went just a little too far. So then I could fold. Right? But I can't fold if you're on my center. I'm not going to fold over and do that and trap you if you're actually sticking to my spine. If you're engaging the intent, I can't get past that. You're too good for that. Right? So that, however, right? And that. And rollback doesn't need physical contact. Right? You throw a punch, I roll. Well, that needed physical contact. I roll, there we go. I can do that. Or you punch, roll, like that. Or as we say, ooh, that's a rollback. So as you punch, I'm here, like that. The structure is going here. If you punch and I roll and I pivot around the center line, I don't have much there. That may hit you, but it's not going to connect to you. But if you punch and I roll around the front hip, that's going to knock you off your feet. Okay. So by having the right pivot point when I turn. So when you punch, I have I'm going forward here. Yes. Right? It's not the same as you punch and I roll back. Right? You punch and I go, oh, we're punching that way? Are we? Like that. So when I come in, you roll into my center. That's it. That's it. Yeah, so you roll and connect to me. That's it. So you're going upstream, right? Rather than like that. So if I come in, that's it. Yeah, you want to gain. So when you just do the blocking here, if you're just going for my elbows, that's it. Then you roll upstream. You roll towards me. That's it. You roll over me. You don't even have to turn much. You just have to engage. There you go. So if I punch, you're right on me. Right? You're right on top. You're right in there. Go, just sort of flow in like you're. Just walk forward. That's it. So you punch.
It's all mud.
Just walk forward like that. So if I do this, see, you can roll, you can neutralize, and go forward like that. So that's it. Blocking is not static. It should almost never be, like central equilibrium is the last thing we mentioned. It's forward, backwards, left or right. Right? But you just walk through. Right? So I just engage and I keep rolling like that. And then boom, boom, boom. That's it. So I just keep sticking to your center. Where, and now where are your arms going? There you go. That's it. Go right back to my center. So I'm here. That's it. Just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep flowing. Flowing like water, flow like water, flow like water. That's it. That's it. Yeah, so you just flow. You just roll. Just rolling. Roll, 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 roll. Relax, relax. Just let it go. Let the arms go. Let your hips and your waist do the work. That's it. And you roll right through. That's it. There you go. That's it. Yep. And you roll, 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 roll. And it gets caught up when we start to do this. When I roll in, I've got you, and then I go, oh, like that.
Okay.
And then because I did that, the nanosecond that happens, you win.
I can feel myself when I think about this a lot. So anytime I'm walking around, I notice a tendency I have when I go to buy stuff from a drive-thru. When I reach out to grab the
pin machine, the ATM.
This shoulder will always come up, and I could feel myself getting tense, and I was like, why do I do that? So I started trying to deprogram myself so that every time I reach out, I relax my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I find I do it with a lot of things. So now I'll be walking around, and I'll feel my shoulders are high.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of try to make myself relax and think about the stack of pearls.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, and let it all go out. And
that's it, yeah.
just walk. And
so you get up and everything just sort of pours out the bottom. You just sort of like it's hanging from a coat hanger.
yeah, and to be balanced while I'm walking.
Yep.
And so then I notice when I do tighten up and I notice it, like I breathe in, I feel like my shoulders rise up and it feels like it kind of pulls me up off the ground and I feel like I'm less balanced.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm almost like coming up off the ground.
Yep. So yeah, you get lighter. Right? So this whole idea of feeling the ground under your feet and under my feet and sort of like you become the water underneath it, even before there's contact made. So punging, and not just as a personal thing, but as an engagement, happens right off the bat before anybody even throws a punch or engages. Right? So if you're going into grappling and you come in and you do this engagement here, you do it better when you're wrestling. You can see it. You can see it. You just go, okay, like that, and as soon as somebody goes there, they're, oh, geez, there's no way, and you get heavier than the other person. But with the stand-up game, people tend to get lighter because they want to. It's about kinetic energy. How fast can I get the hand going? And then you watch the heavyweights come out and they're tired, and there's not much of a punch. It's like boom. This ability to engage the center. See, you're not just blocking my arm. You're connecting to my spine. You're feeling where my hips are. You're feeling where my feet are. So when I come in, you're engaging everything like that. And this is why the stories of Tai Chi. The person threw a punch and then went flying across the room. Well, that's basically what happens. You throw the punch, and connect to your center, and you go flying. And the more committed the punch is, the more the person falls back. Right? Because now your elbow's dropping, right? But you feel that go into your spine.
Yes.
And you keep leaning on it, and see how that connects to the ground.
Yes.
Well, you push it off to the side, but if you keep leaning it, there you go. See how that connects to my feet?
Yes.
So as this comes in, you're just going to hit that, and it's like hitting a wall. Equal reaction. Okay. So there you go. See, that's it, and you're natural at this. And it's the same kind of structure that you have when you go into grapple. You get in underneath, right? When you're wrestling. So when you block with that, you block with a grappling structure. Right there, like that. So the grappling and the long range start to merge together so that this is connecting to my spine. So all the close range stuff you do will work in long range. Most of the long range stuff will work in close range until you get onto the ground, and then only about a quarter of it does. But it's still useful stuff right there. So you're like that. So these connecting that's it. You see that in your shoulder down, and extend your arm into my spine. No, connect this point right here into my spine. There. You can let go of that for a moment. There, feel that?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so as you block the arm, that's connecting to my spine. You've almost got it. Right? A few more years of Danzhuang, you'll get it. Right? So you're almost there. Right? It just takes a year to get that last little inch of relaxation. Boom. There you go. That's it. So somebody should if they throw a punch at you, it should knock the wind out of them. Like that. So you don't have to, don't hook my arm like that. Go like this. If the so the hand is pointed towards me. Okay. You go like that. If the opportunity happens to go around, do it. But so here, if the opportunity happens to go around, do it, but do it like that.
Okay.
Okay. Rather than this, because now you're fighting yourself here.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're hooking, and this is giving a whole lot of tension that somebody else can use against you. This is a very common flaw because it has a certain amount of use. Okay. Right? You feel like you're controlling up and down. Yes. You're trapping the arm. But your arm doesn't really bend that way. You can trap it just as easily like this. The important thing is that you're not trying to control it. You're trying not to get controlled by it while you go for the real target, which is inside. So when you block, see that? So keep your fingers extended. There you go. Now, look where your fingers are pointed. No, look where your fingers are pointed. No. That's it. So you connect to my spine. Now you connect to my head. Boom. And because the strike is coming in this way, you move at right angles to the strike, you neutralize the strike and punch me at the same time. Okay. So it becomes softer and softer as you start to roll and connect. So this is pang and liu, right? And pang and liu, so you strike, so you throw a hook, pang and liu happen like that. So it not only stops you from connecting here, it connects me to there. And you coming in, pressing in, if you're pushing in towards me,
I feed it.
That's it, you feed that. Because I'm moving at right angles to it, there's no resistance to my going forward. The more sideways you are, the easier it is for me to go at right angles to that pressure. Okay. So if I come in and you block, like that, so now you're in a position to do that. Same as if I go here, that's right, you're already in line for that. And I go here, you're already in line for that. Here, you're already in line for that. Do a hook. Here, I'm in line for this. Okay, and I do a hook, so from here, you're in line to hammer. I do a straight punch, you're in line to do a straight punch, like that. And this will go also back to what we were doing with yesterday, when you're here, okay, yes. And we're in this kind of position, and I drop the hip, but I keep connected to your center.
Can you re-explain the hip thing to me?
Yeah, from here, the dropping the hip is dropping this hip backwards. So I'm engaging, you're on this side, you hold on tightly. Tuck your elbow in, like as if it's half of a, okay. Half of your head. There you go. So from here, you've got my head, and I have to decide which I'm going to pivot around, this point or this point. I'll choose this point because it's more useful for me and because that's going to slip off. Okay. So I usually go for the point that's closest to you, to your center, and that's this point of contact. So I usually engage the point that's closest to your center. So hold on tightly. From here, I drop my hip back. See that?
Yes.
That pulls you onto your toes, yeah. So you have no defense against that. If you're centered in your feet and you're balanced, and I turn and I go for that, I can't get past that. Right? Because this is connected to the ground, I have a lot of momentum to get past. But if I drop this back, that fulcrum right there pries you out of the ground just enough to do that. Okay. So as you do that, boom.
So this.
Otherwise, people get into this, and they're like this, and they're trying to wail over top. Right, but you engage my center, and even if I do this, it's just my arm.
Yeah.
Right, but if you do that, I drop my hip back.
Okay. You make the space.
Yeah. So if I'm trapped, making space is a good. So if I'm here like this, I pivot and I create space for myself. Right? But I don't do it by shifting my whole body back. Oh. I do it by rotating one side or the other, and I have to leave one point still. If wherever the strength is, wherever your strongest point is, that's where I tend to leave still. I don't want to move the point that is strongest. So if you plow into me and you don't let me move you, so I can't push you backwards that way, but I can drop my hip. And I just drop this hip backwards. This one stays still. This is lesson number 1 in Tai Chi, and nobody ever gets it. So, which is great. Because when you do, see that? Yeah. And this is connected to the ground. When I do that, I'm not punching like this now. And the shoulder isn't there. The elbow's in front of my shoulder, so that when I do this, here, my elbow's in front of my shoulder, it's strong. I could do this and come across, but that's just my arm. Mm-hmm. But if I'm here, and you hold on, so from here I keep my elbow in a nice comfortable position, I drop my hip back, Now I have that. And it's got the whole body's power behind it. Okay. And then, so if I want to also, I can go like this. That drops your arm out of there. And then I come back this way. Right? Or again, you hold it in. Right? So I drop the arm out of there. I go here and here. As opposed to my arm flailing around by itself. Okay. Like that. Instead, I just go here. Like that. So take the arm out of the picture entirely, and you're like this. I drop my hip back.
Okay, this makes it totally
Yay!
This is how Steve operates on the ground.
Yes. Yeah. You see it because I see it in jiu-jitsu all the time. You know, people say, "Oh, Tai Chi versus this, that, and the other thing." So the Tai Chi people don't get it.
I had a guy ask me. He was like, "When I roll, when I'm on top of people, I'm always told they're like, you're very heavy."
Yeah.
And that's the game I play.
Yeah.
I'm getting older. I'm not getting faster. I'm not getting, quicker. I'm not getting stronger. I'm getting weaker. I'm getting slower. So my game is to just control the guy and slow the pace down to the pace that I need and dominate the fight. So he was like, man, he's like, every time you're on me, he's like, you cook my arms so that my arms are like useless.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a bigger guy, I'll cook his arms. And he was like, when I'm on top of you, I don't feel the same thing. Like, he's like, I don't feel like I'm getting the same thing. And when I create the proper angles, I can feel myself almost like sinking through the person. It's like somebody on top of me pushing me down through them. And I've always equated it when guys ask me, I'm like, when I move like I'm smearing peanut butter on bread. And that's what I do to you. I squeeze you like a tube of toothpaste.
Yeah.
So when I'm going this way, if I'm on top and my chest is chest, if I move that way, as I move, I angle my hips like that. And I move. So that as I move, I'm just like that a little bit. You can't even really notice it unless you're really paying attention for it. And then I kind of smear into you a little as I move.
Yeah. That's awesome. And if you look, you'll find you pivot, you sort of walk. I'm betting just from that little bit that we did the other day on the ground, you have this ability to sort of roll. So you'll be smearing one part, but you'll be pivoting around another, and you're rolling. It's like from here, I want to walk up the arm.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not doing this. Yeah. Right. It's just so I'm in here, right? And people say, "How did you get to my face?" Yeah. It's here. You're just there. Right. You roll up. Now I'm inside, but I didn't go inside. So from here, or like this, and you're pushing me or grappling, and I go like this. I'm just sort of in there. Okay. Like that. And you can sort of, people will do that, right? You need to have a point of contact that engages the ground and then move to the next one. So what you're doing when you get in there is you're engaging one spot and then you're sort of creeping up with the other.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like one side is the slug and then the other one sort of is the snake, or something. It just sort of creeps your way through. And when you did that to me, it was like I couldn't move my leg, right? Because you were right in there, and as you got that balance point, you didn't do what most people do, which is either lean this way or that way. You were right down in it, and you were engaging my knee so that my foot and my hip were both pinned to the ground. And then you just sort of, like you said, smeared yourself over it, and it's like, oh, like, get off so I can do something.
I want to take away all the space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like mud hands that we were talking about, right? It's like, Sam Mazich talked about doing this with mud hands with people, and he says he got really, he would get fanatical about it, and this is what he would do, and then he would just be in this, and then after a while, the people that he was training with would just go, ew, get off. It's creepy. So yeah, you don't give them the space, and so you do that here with the long range stuff. Because I don't give you the space. Okay, what happens is you neutralize the connection the person has to the ground. Okay, so from here you've got connection to the ground almost. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so what I do is I sort of intercept that. Now you don't have that connection to the ground, and as you try to recover that connection to the ground, I take it away from somewhere else, just as you get it back on that side. Right? So yeah, it's a shell game. You're going, okay, here, you need to get that power back, and it's like this. Again, to grab my wrist. Okay, so what happens is I take the power away from here, and you go chasing it, like that, and you forget that you've got a free hand. And then, in fact, both hands are free. Okay. But I trick you by going like this, so now you're fighting against my fingertips. and your own hand. Right? So I managed to creep my way up, and now you're fighting against that, and now I'm in.
Okay.
Right? So we're here like this, and I'll just go like that, and now I've got this. So you're just going back and forth from one point to another. So I'll roll here, I've got your elbow, I've got you there, and you will always engage wherever it is that you feel the pressure or the intent, and you won't engage on the other side. We watch those people when you're smearing them to the ground, they've probably got a free limb or a free side, but they're so fixated on what cannot move that they can't move anything else. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so from here, if I can get you fixated on that, then that, okay? So from here, we're in like this, and I go, right? Because your mind tightens up on one side, and I keep playing that side. So so to engage me here, don't let me get past, okay? And engage me here. Almost got you. And there. It's there. So don't let me do that. Drop your elbows, drop your shoulders, engage my center. Okay, there we go. That's it. So now I can't do that. There's no way I can get in there. Well, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Okay, engage. Don't let me get in there. That's it. Engage my center. Good. Yeah. That's it. And one of the ways, almost. There we go. Is to get you doing it yourself. Right? You get also into a certain structure where there's a tendency, if your elbows get up, they creep up, then you're not going to be able to engage as well. So drop your shoulders, drop your elbows, engage my center. And one of the best defenses is to do the same thing back to the other person. Right? So you mess up my sides, that's it. So I can't figure out which side I'm messing with. That's it. Oh, I figured it out. So here, why are you fighting my thumb so hard?
I don't know.
Just roll past it. Engage. Because now it's something to hang on to. Right? That's something to hang on to. You're holding on to my thumb. You're fighting against this when there's no reason I should be able to stop you from whacking me in the head.
Okay.
Like that. So just
I'm getting fixated with, I have like a point to focus my power on.
Right. And part of this comes with people who grapple or do strength training, is they tend to focus on the thing, on applying strength, on applying force. So you find the strongest thing to fight against.
Okay.
Now, how would you just roll that? Yeah, not even that. Just go like this. There you go. Okay. This is all. There we go. That was all that was standing between you and a knockout. Okay, so here, bam, and yet you got stuck on that. So by not getting stuck on that, it forces me to change. Okay, so it's a game of go. Your chess. You're trying to force the other person to see why you're using your fingertips.
Yeah.
To fight that. Instead, engage my center with your palm. There we go. Like that. So move the fight closer to you. The people inside the castle have to fight their own battles. The people on the battlefield can't be running back into the castle all the time, just because one thing got through. So you keep the shoulder. There you go. So you're in the castle. The shoulders are on the battlefield. If you get into the castle takes care of itself, and the shoulders out on the battlefield can invade the other castle while you're doing that. That's it. So you just keep. That's it. Relax. Open up your lower back. Think of pivoting, turning, find a pivot point. Right? Rather than trying to lean on me, so it's one side or the other. There you go. That's it. There you go. Yep. One side or the other. Yep. So from here, let this be the still point. This is where a lot of the force is. Right. So let this be the still point for a moment. Engage it, and then pivot around this point. Let your whole body move around. There. Okay. So you're here, this is still, let the body move around. Okay. And you've got that extreme. So now, here, let this be the still point, and let your whole body move around this point. Yeah. So again, engage here. Nope. Yeah, you gotta find one still point or the other. You can't use, that's it. Yeah, because you tried to use this and this at the same time as the still point. Use one or the other. You can still keep that pressure, strap the elbow, but use this or this. That's it. That's it, and then we do-si-do. Yeah, so you're here. If I try to move this as the still point, that's going to be one thing, but if I keep this still and I pivot around it, I've got that. If I keep this still and I pivot around it, I've got that. Right? So, and that's what I'm doing when I do that. Right? I feel you engage, and that's the still point, and I move around it. And by moving around it, I'm not just doing this. Right? If I go here and I try to move that away, and this is the still point, so I go like that and around, you're going to track me right to my center. But if I let your engagement be the still point, then I can do that. So when I engage, when I go here, like that, there you go. That's it. Now this becomes the still point. And you can move at right angles, or you can move around it, or you can, that's it. Yeah. So from here, engage, roll, there you go. And now just roll over. Like that. So you punch here, like that. So you punch, sorry, real punch. Okay, again. Okay. Keep your elbow in front of your body when you punch. So don't, you're pulling your elbow back a little. So let the shoulder down, elbow dropping here, like this. Let this be the surfer in front of the wave. It won't take as long to get there, and the other person won't see it. That's it. So from here, if you block, see that? Okay, I'm gonna block. See the difference? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is here again. Okay. So this is a punch. This is a, so you block. Engage my center. There you go. That's it. So it's a matter of relaxing and moving back from there to there. Okay. There you go. That's it. Whoa. Nice. There. Now you're saving time. Shortest distance between 2 points is?
0.
0, right. Good. And now, this is where I'm going to be sorry. This is where my arms are going to start hurting. Right? Because if you block and I throw one of these, that's one thing. If you block and I throw one of those, it's going to hurt you more. Feel the difference?
Yes.
Okay. So this is where my arms start to go blue.
Blue?
Damn it. Ah, there you go. That's it. Yep.
Damn it.
There you go. So that's it. You got to engage my elbow. Engage the center. That's it. Stop the punch, not just the hand. That's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This works because you're not punching back. Thank you. The good news is you'll be able to block this. Like in a short time, you'll be able to beat this. There you go. Now you're taking the power out of it. I'm still getting through, but it's not there. Partly because that's not real enough. There you go. Now, that's it. That's it. Now we're cooking with gas. And nothing like a compliment to throw you off your game. That's it. You okay?
Yeah.
Yep. So then I go, there you go. Oh, that didn't work, that didn't work, that didn't work. Oh, good. Nothing worked. Good. There we go. Go for the elbows. Don't wait for it to come to you now. That's it. So don't wait for him to come to you. That's it. Go in. That's it. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So you'll get to a point where if you do this well, there's none of this. The fight begins, walk forward.
Entry.
Yeah, and it's Chen Fa Ke, who was a very famous Chen style teacher in Beijing, and they were debating when they were having a tournament, how long should the matches be? And should it be like 15 rounds, like the Western boxing? Should it be 3 rounds of 2 minutes or 6 minutes? How long should it be? Because there are huge numbers of competitors. And Chen Fa Ke said, 3 rounds of 3 seconds each. That should be enough time. And that's what everybody else said. Okay, we respect you, but really? How can you do that? And then he demonstrated. Somebody said, really, you can beat me in 3 seconds? Let's see. And they squared off, and as soon as they engaged, boom, right through. But that's a particular kind of match.
So I guess you have the problem there between fighting and a contest.
Bingo.
Contest, one's not looking to finish the other one. Well, one's looking to win.
Yeah.
Whereas, you said...
Yeah, I said this. A fight, a tournament, a match is when one person is deciding to win and everybody agrees what the rules are. A fight is when you don't even know if you're fighting. But the goal is to not lose. That's right.
And it's funny because that's an exact, I'm not going to say quote because it's not like they're the only people that have probably ever said it, but Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Elio Gracie was quoted as saying, I don't have to beat you, I just don't have to lose.
Right.
Or I have to not lose. Mm-hmm. If I don't lose, especially when there's a book out by Saulo Alberto, a very good book actually on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it's called Jiu-Jitsu University, and he says quotes in there, he rolled with Elio when Elio was like 80 or 90 years old. And he's like, yes, you're very strong, you're a multiple time world and national champion, He's like, but you won't beat me. Mm-hmm. And then he says, I didn't say that I'll beat you, just that you won't beat me.
Yes.
And he said, you know what, he said, I couldn't. I'm sure he could have gooned him and picked him up. He weighed 120 pounds at the time. He probably could have just picked him up and smashed him. But technically, he couldn't beat him in the match. He couldn't get him with anything, sub him with anything.
Yeah.
And I thought that was that's what fighting is. People get this a contest that's so ego driven, where it's I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna be the winner. Yeah. But in real life, the only goal is to survive and not die.
That's right.
If you survive and not die, then you win. Mm-hmm. That's the win. Even if the other guy just gives up and leaves.
We call investing in loss. Has many different meanings. One is to lose as much as you can in training, and as long as you know how you're losing. Right, and in a competition to win and have no clue, but the other is that you can often a victory is a loss. A loss is a victory, depending on your point of view. This comes back to yin and yang. I mean, many people say, well, all these great masters who got really good and their students don't quite get it, and why aren't your students as good as you are? And it all comes down to understanding yin and yang. And Maharishi Shiba said this to one of his students. He said, it's all about understanding yin and yang. And I've got to find out who the student was. But the same thing happens in every style. When people come into a match and they think, well, I have these strengths and I'm going to defeat him, and the other person is thinking, well, how can I make his strengths work against him?
Okay.
How can I make my weaknesses my strengths? And sometimes the inability to beat somebody becomes your strength, because they'll know that they can beat you. They know that you can't beat them. They'll know that they can beat you. So they'll go at this game with the sole purpose of defeating you.
But when they don't, or when it becomes protracted, they start to crumble.
Exactly, and they go crazy. They go nuts because they realize that you're just toying with them. It's that idea of instead of playing for a win, you play for a stalemate, or you play to just protect yourself, you play to not lose, then the other person's strategy gets thrown out the window because you're giving up obvious opportunities. They're giving you these things. I got here, go for this, and he's not going for it. Why is he not going for it? He must know more than I do. He must know that it's a trap, or he must know that this, and you don't know it's a trap, but if you'll get lucky because the other guy is trying to set you up for a loss, and you're just trying to stay comfortable.
You ever see that movie When We Were Soldiers?
No, I haven't.
Vietnam War. Anyway,
Yeah.
At the end, after all the guys are gone and they've stacked up all the bodies and stuff like that, the Americans have left and the Vietnamese come back in, and the Vietnamese leader there, he's like, oh, it's such a shame. And there's this little American flag there flying stuffed in a stick and stuff like that. He's like, they make a mistake. He's like, they look at this as a victory. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so now this conflict will go on longer, and there'll be many more dead.
Two guys, and they tried to stab him, and he got away, and he was in a position where he could have killed them both. And he said, but then I would have been involved in a court case and maybe been in jail with them or their friends. What good would that have done anybody? Yeah. And as it was, he got away with a scratch, an extremely good result from a knife fight. Yeah. That was a really good result. The other guys got away. The police interrogated him for 45 minutes. Yeah. But a lot of Tai Chi people think that a fight starts here. So they go out there. Oh yeah, I know. I do Tai Chi. I can fight. What does a fight look like to you? And they think it's here like this. And so they go into a fight and they go like this. And poof. Ooh. Wait a minute. I made a comment to Master Liang once. I said, I realized that with long-range fighters, I just walk towards them and they fall down because nobody else trained mid-range skill at that time. Now they do. So, these long-range fighters, I won't name styles, but, anything where all they do is train with other people who like to kick and punch, and they get in close and they do that. And they stay on their own side. And the first thing that I would do was, I would engage the first couple, and then I would come in and whatever point of contact was made, that was my opportunity to close in. But then I would go to the middle, which frustrated grapplers because
it's kind of non-committal for a grappler.
That's right. So it's exactly, and this is the most dangerous place to be, and this is where we love to be because it frustrates the heck out of everybody else. I mean, you can tell you don't want to be here.
No, I feel like I can get hit with everything here.
That's right. Exactly. Now you have the same weapons I have.
Yes, but less knowledge on it.
But less experience in this range.
Always for my fingers.
And that's it. Well, I've got fingers, boom, like that. And go to here. So when you go to grapple, when you try to close the distance, so you go ahead, you close in. Right? All right, so you've got this field. So go ahead, grapple, take me down. I'm not concerned with grappling or with moving away. If I were concerned about moving away, right, I would be doing this, and you would. That's right. If I tried to clear the distance,
that's when I shoot.
then you'd shoot, right? But because I'm not concerned with moving away from you,
I'm caught halfway. There's no. Steve would call this like you're not giving me the condition to go.
Right.
I can't shoot because I can't. You're putting a stop hit on me basically without a hit.
Yeah, that's right.
And I can't close to get the other grips that I want for the close range throws because again, I can't move my hip in if I can't.
Right.
I can't get close enough to you.
Right. Plus, I have a whole bunch of skills in here. So as you go to close in, there you just lost your balance.
Yes.
And this is Tsai. This is Lie. So here I am with my feeling of pride and superiority. And I said this to Master, I found out with long-range fighters, I just walk towards them and they fall down. And Master Liang said, oh, very good. Oh, yeah. You walk towards Jared. And Jared was a national Sanshou champion, and he's this tall. And I measured him. And I got the gloves on and the headgear, and I were over there doing Sanshou on the mat. It says, you walk towards Jared. I was like, okay, so I walked towards Jared, and I got about here. And I went poof, like that. I said, wow. Your legs are long. So I'm trying to close it. It took me to the middle of the second round after getting knocked down 3 times before I actually got anywhere close to him. And then he'd been training with people like me, so it didn't do me a lot of good. Master Dan said afterwards, "Ah, yeah, you do very good. You're very good." Thank you. Why can I not see colors right now? Everything's black and white. Because he knocked me down. I drove home that day like a fool, and should have gotten somebody to drive me, but I thought it was okay, and I missed my intersection.
As everybody always does.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, fine.
When your brain is not working, you don't know your brain is not working. You're thinking, "Oh, I'm fine." When I come in, if I come in and commit to a punch like this, you've got it, you win. Right? Because I'm committed, and as soon as you do anything different, like that, exactly, that was good. As soon as you do anything different, I am now in a universe, I'm still in the universe where I hit you in the face.
Okay.
Right? At this moment, I am still in that universe. And you have moved on to another one where I am not hitting you in the face, and it's going to take me a while to catch up.
Okay.
So by having this commitment right here, and at any point I commit, if at any point I commit to a technique, then I'm vulnerable to a counter. So the trick is to be able to stick and follow in a circle and never commit to a technique until it's over. Until the other person is basically beating themselves up. Yes, that's it. Yeah, you don't aim at the target. You don't pull the trigger.
Just work your way slower and slower. Mm-hmm. That was the thing I was going to say earlier. When we do hand, your circles are like infinitely smaller than mine.
Yes.
So it always gets inside, whereas mine are big, and then it's natural and easy for yours to.
That's right. Yeah. So I go in here. I'm already inside. You're already going towards yourself already now.
Yes.
You're already moving towards your face. And now you push here like this. So that's my circle.
Yes.
And it comes from here, right? That's the thing. And this is what gets people because they don't see it. See, when I make that change, when you push me, I circle from my feet. So that's that spiral. And that's how it gets to be so small. Because it's, there we go, right? Ding!
This is breakthrough.
Yeah. So when I do this neutralization, I could do it with my hands. I can do that.
But it's not the same.
But that's technique and that's trickery. Right? That's just
and it feels
me.
Weak.
Yeah, and I'm doing this. Right? And I'm not on your center. I'm not a threat to you. But if you push me and you're going after my center of gravity and trying to get it off my base of support, if I can improve the relationship between my center of gravity and my base of support, you won't be able to compromise it. Right. So it's like, you know, if you and your spouse get along and you know each other really well and somebody come up and say, "She's talking smack about you behind your back," and you go ask her, and she goes, "No," then you believe her. Then it's not happening. It's not a threat to you because you have a better relationship with your center of gravity and your base of support than the other person does. So I just have to have a better relationship between my core and my center than you do. And then I can mess up your relationship with your center. Right? So they're just not talking to each other anymore. And pretty soon you're fighting with yourself. Right? So I've sown discord in your house. And now I don't have to worry about the neighbors because they're too busy yelling at each other.
I just caught up with the other thing. Now you're giving me something.
This is the same thing. This is the same thing, right? But you can do this out here, right? And there are a lot of people that'll do this. They'll go, "Hey, look behind you, you know," or "Look, your center isn't agreeing with your feet. Your center's out to get you." and then, you know, I can do that out here. But if you can see past that and realize that that's just my hands talking, and you go for my core, you realize that I'm only saying that because I have no center of my own.
Okay.
Okay. So that way I can't make these little circles from my feet. If you can see, if I can't make these movements from my center, from a true core, from a true self, so to speak, right, then you'll see that when somebody's talking smack, they're not talking from their true self.
Okay.
You can tell it's all a lie. So the metaphor is going into a preachy little novel here. But so feel your center, connect it to your feet, connect it to the center of the earth, and now neutralize this with your feet. There you go. Don't go too far. Okay. You neutralize this. Remember, rollback only exists to facilitate pung. You only roll back in order to find my center. There you go.
Okay, so it's small. It's a lot smaller than what I'm thinking.
That's right. You only have to roll back enough to find my center. There we go. Okay.
Too much.
And remember, it's about keeping your balance. Okay. Imagine you are standing on the log, and you want to roll the log enough that you can stay on top of it, but not so much that it starts to spin out of control. Right. So I want to roll it so that I'm still centered, but the log doesn't start spinning. I want to move it a little bit this way, a little bit that way, just to keep my balance. But if I start going like this, then I fall off the log. So go back to your feet and let your feet feel my push. That's it. There you go. And just, that's it. Now you can change the shape, and the shape can become bigger and open. And what feels like to the other person like pushing is you actually just creating more space. You can create the space. So I don't have to push you with my arms. I don't have to push you with my legs, because my legs can only go so far. But I can change the shape like that. And that's just the shape changing. That's not me pushing you. Okay?
Like
so,
cloud hands.
Yeah, like cloud hands. Exactly, yeah. Or weave the shuttles. Like that. So it's roll. That was beautiful. That was exactly what it looked like. Right? It was a give me a second to clue in, because I didn't even feel that. That was awesome. There you go. Right. Turn, relax, connect to the ground. That's it. And don't think of doing stuff. Just think of letting it happen.
Okay, so if I was there, I could have actually.
Yep, you could have. See, there is that. The same thing, just quieter.
I already know I lost like 2 moves before that. I could, as soon as I, shit.
There, that's good. That's like, in chess, a poor chess player doesn't know when they're about to lose. They don't know until their king is gone. A good chess player will know 8 moves ahead that they'd lost. So you're going to have me checkmate in 8 moves. There's nothing I can do about it.
I can feel it now as soon as like.
There, yeah, and because you can feel it, you can counter it. Right? That awareness itself, as that awareness improves, the awareness itself will be the counter. Right? Because now that's it. Now I can't do the same thing I was doing before. Now you're into your awareness. That's it. Your awareness is there. Don't think about doing something. Just think about changing shape. So change the energy. That's it. You throw me not by doing something with your legs, but by changing the shape with your arms. The legs will determine whether it's offensive or defensive or side to side or rooting. But the arms will just change shape, and that's what. So going from white crane spreads wings to to pung, whatever you want. Right? And you can just let the arms change shape, but it's not like they're doing anything. It's not like they're trying to do anything to you. The arms just change shape, and it becomes a shape that you can't deal with at that time. It's like choosing the right element for the right element. This is for an evening class, the kids would be saying, it's like Pokemon. 5 ounce. So you do Bongchen, this is wood, is defeated by metal. Metal is restrained by fire. Smashing fire is restrained by water, which is drilling. And then you block and go for my ribs, that's earth. Sideways shearing, like that. And that's earth restrains water, and wood restrains earth. So, and so we have the constructive and destructive cycles. But so finding the right shape, we have the 8 trigrams in the hands. Peng, Lu, Ji, An, Zai, De, Zhou, Kao. And they are always present. This is the thing we were talking about yesterday.
Yes.
So if we're engaging here, now we talk about Peng and Ji and Lui and An. These are sort of the archetypal shapes. And then there's Zai and Lie and Zhou and Kao. Yeah. Nuke them all, let God sort it out. So that's the idea. But here, if we're engaging like this and you're pushing me, and I use Peng, and I can use Lui, and then I can do Ji, and then I can do An. That was good, yeah, and An would defeat Ji. So, and then I can do An. So if I'm standing here like this and you're pushing me, I can do An, I can do Lui, I can do Ji,
all right, I can feel it a little
and
bit.
I can do Peng.
Yes, that one, it's
That's
like
right.
all inflated.
Yeah, and they become more apparent as you get more off balance. So I do Peng, now I do An again, and then I do Lui, and I do Ji, and then I do Peng. That's it. And then you roll. That's it. Yeah. And then you'll feel it as you go. So as I go try one that doesn't work, I do another that doesn't work, and then I do another, and I change as you adapt. So or before you adapt, actually. So that's that awareness that you were starting to get here. So when you start to we go back to what we were doing before, where you feel me feel me taking control of your center. So there, if I can try to get there, now I can't do it because you're listening for it, you're aware of it. And then you just let your arms change shape and maintain your awareness of how I'm trying to compromise your balance. And if you can maintain that awareness of that balance, then I can't compromise it. Right? But if I can somehow get your mind to do that, so I have to intercept your mind from that awareness, which is sort of like an energetic version of, and or don't get distracted by that thing over there, like that. So, but it all comes down, like these are 8 trigrams, 5 elements, the 10,000 things, all the 10,000 possible martial applications. The problem is that if we try to make the application work, it might work, but we won't have understood yin and yang. So when we're practicing, we try to practice in a way that allows us to understand yin and yang, whether the technique works or not. So if we lose, we want to at least understand yin and yang. Shoulder down. There we go. So by dropping your shoulder, you found out where the problem was. Right, because it wasn't here.
No.
Right, your shoulder was doing this. It just meant your shoulder was falling first, so the rest of the body didn't have to.
Okay.
Right, but the rest of the body was going anyway. Right, so this is the rat deserting the ship, basically. So there you go. So if you can take this and find the center again, find the ground, neutralize with your center, there you go, like that. So these small circles, yin and yang, and that's what it'll enable you to beat this. That's it. Where's my center? Ooh. There you go. Knew you'd get it sooner or later. That's it. Yeah. So you just walk forward.
Okay.
There. But see, I was so off balance. But you were off balance by the fact that I was doing this. But it was an imaginary threat. Because, well, probably because it usually is a threat. But at that moment, when I was here, I was not a threat to you. So you could just go for me. That's it. So there's an opening. It's like the difference between offensive and defensive fighter. There is no difference. Is that the defensive fighter will not take the opportunities that an offensive fighter will take. Because they're afraid they won't recognize them. An offensive fighter, if they're good, will know the difference between a real opportunity and a fake one, and will take them.
The only difference is that initiation.
Yeah.
But once the fight is on.
Well, no, an offensive fighter a defensive fighter has to wait for the other person to initiate in order to be able to see the opening. And this is why in a duel, it's always the defensive fighter who wins. Right? The offensive fighter will go when they know that there's an opening. Think of it as a defensive fighter who's moving forward.
Okay.
Okay, so now an aggressive fighter is somebody who doesn't care if the opening is real or not, they're going to go for it anyway.
It's going to overwhelm you.
Yeah, so they think that if they can just keep attacking, eventually you're not going to be able to defend. But a good defensive fighter will know the difference and will be countering. And so you're basically hitting yourself in the head with your own fist every time you move. It's like, poof, like, poof, like that, because they're able to read and able to tell the difference. But when a defensive fighter gets really, really good, they can attack whenever they want to. Because they're not just looking for that overcommitment, they're looking for that lack of awareness. They're looking for your shadow. So if you're pushing me, and I can wait for you to push, you push, and I can neutralize you, no problem, because then it's clear where the weakness is. But if you are trying not to move, okay, and I just stand here and wait for you, and you're not moving anywhere, then we both win. But nobody loses. But if I have a point to make, and you don't let yourself move, then I just find the part of you that wants to move.
Okay.
And if you're not aware of it and I am, then I can defeat you. So even though I am being aggressive, I'm the offensive fighter, because it's based on a defensive strategy and an awareness of the relationship between my center and your center, a relationship between your center and you, more or less. So then I can find your shadow. But that's a skill, like trying to find your shadow in a cave when you've got a lamp on your forehead. Okay, so if I've got this lamp on my forehead and I'm looking for your shadow, I'm not going to be able to find it. As a defensive fighter, I can sit here and watch you move and I go, oh, there it is. But if I'm going to be an offensive fighter, I have to be able to turn that off meaning my
Intent.
my awareness, myself, my ego. I have to turn that off, turn that perception off, and see you as the cave sees you, as the darkness sees you.
Okay.
Right? Then I can see the light, and I can see the shadows. Right? So this is getting weird. But yeah, if I can turn that off, then I can see where the opening is, and I don't have to wait for you to move to know that I've got you.
Okay.
You don't have to attack before I can do that. It's a heck of an energy saver.